You are listening to the Take a Step podcast, where we help growth-minded professionals live every day on purpose. My name's Josh Johnston, and today I'm joined again by John Szarszewski. And today we're opening up this first part of a really like an 8-step journey that we've built out that showcases what it looks like to take someone who's going through the motions, just stuck in their day-to-day life, to actually showing up and living every day with a purpose. Today we have the first 2 parts that we're going to unpack in this 8-part journey. Part 1, define the success, and then part 2, set the standard. Enjoy this jam-packed episode, and let's take a step. Welcome back to the podcast. We are here yet again with John Szarszewski. We got a special one today. Something cool that is going to be kind of more of a consistency with the podcast now, with it kind of lining up with the Tribe calls, which the Tribe is the leadership development program we have through Take a Step. But we've kind of put together this 8-step journey, if you will, that really embodies the core mission we have behind Take a Step, on bringing somebody from in the state of just going through the motions to really living and showing up with a purpose every single day. So one of the things that's really cool we're going to be doing moving forward is inside the Tribe, we have calls at the beginning of every month where we really dive into one of these steps, and as well as some accountability and just kind of that iron sharpens iron component we have to the community. But we thought it'd be a great idea just to kind of bring those topics, bring those coaching components that we have in that journey to the podcast and talk about what we talked about on the call and some things that came up. So today we're going to get it kicked off with the first 2. We got a twofer with define the success and set the standard. So we got a good conversation prepared for today. But first off, John, we got something coming up this weekend.
Yeah. You ready?
I am.
That's 50% of the room is ready, which is great. Jokingly say that. So the Ultra coming up this weekend, going into it, the reason I said yes to this crazy event and signing up, well, 1, I do that too often, but 2, I really wanted to focus in on the process. Like, getting to the finish line doesn't really matter, but it was the process of the training leading up to it. And I can't say that I fulfilled what I wanted to, but I learned a lot along the way. Yeah. So like, I'm not beating myself up on it. I'm going to be running this race at 2:35. I wanted to be down 20 pounds. The goal has shifted. Like, my goal going into it now is like run a mile, walk a quarter. Yeah. I was joking with Michael. I'll probably be eating an Uncrustable every other walk. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to eat like. I went to get my nutrition yesterday. I called Jade and I'm like, hey, how many Uncrustables do we have left? So, dude, the Uncrustables are in my tool belt as well. Like, I'm like, nutrition. As I'm doing the math, I'm going to be eating like 8 of these things. I'm going to be the only person to ever gain weight on a 50K. I'm going to cross the finish line 5 pounds heavier.
We'll see. Dude, when we did the 4x4x48 a couple months ago, I mean, I'm not like, every time we were at the gym, I was constantly eating, and it wasn't like light foods. It was lasagna. It was cookies. It was like dense food. And I came back and I had lost like 5 pounds from the weekend. So if you find a way to make that happen, I'll be in
the first success story. But no, I'm excited, man. 1, just getting away, doing life with you guys. Yeah. Rent the house, having the families together.
Yeah, dude.
We got a metal detector for the kids so they can go scour on the beach and like find treasures.
Let's go.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man.
Yeah. It's I was telling Jaden last night, I'm like, I'm so excited, just like, hey, this is my element. I love ultras. And then also getting to do it with just a bunch of people that are both in it, and then the families that are coming too. We got a house down there. Some of the girls got another Airbnb down there, and yeah, we're gonna have a squad. So thinking about doing a big spaghetti dinner Friday night before, and then getting a big reservation Saturday to celebrate the pain, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how many hours it's going to be out there. Just, I'm more excited for what I'm going to learn along the way.
That's the thing with ultras is. That's why I fell in love with it. I'm not at the level where I'm competing. It just takes a lot of making it the priority that I'm not willing to do right now. But that said, it's like the mental journey, the highs and lows, not only throughout the training, but all like specifically, there's so much time built up in the race itself where you go to the mountaintop and you're in the valley countless times throughout a 4, 5, 6, 7 hour race. So yeah, it's like it is its own process, and we'll like talking about defining the success, which we'll get to in a second. But like the process throughout the race, if you're only focused on the finish line, then it's a dangerous spot to be in, because it's going to be a long time to think about that one thing. But yeah, dude, it's going to be fun.
Going into the frameworks, I love the verse, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
But I'm like rereading that now. I'm like, faith without frameworks is dead, because a lot of people are working very hard and they've got the faith, but they're a hamster in a wheel because they're not putting their time and attention towards the right things, because they don't have the right plan. And there's so many things in the Bible where it talks about creating the plan, God's guiding your steps.
Yeah.
A lot of people miss that planning part, and they're like, okay, I've got the faith, I'm going to go to work, but they're working on the wrong things. So the way we've mapped this out, where you have these 8 steps to ultimately craft the plan, step into the man, and then get it done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's something where you can't be self-reliant. And I think that's where a lot of people get too into the weeds once they start talking about success, is it's all on their shoulders. And that's one of the verses we have that's core to the brand is Proverbs 16:9, which you just kind of referred to, but it's the heart of a man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps. So it's like there's so many great things to talk about with that verse. One, like the importance of having a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't say the plan is worthless or the plan is meaningless, but like a man that is driven, that has purpose, they should have a plan. But then if their plan is solely on their control, then they're going to be left feeling meaningless, because ultimately we know that we can control all the inputs. We can put the perfect plan together, take all the right actions, and we could get a completely different outcome, because it's God that controls the output. Guys, we'll get back to the episode in just a moment, but I've got to take a second to tell you guys about the official sponsor of the Take a Step podcast, MMP Customs. They make all of the Take a Step apparel, and honestly, they're the best at what they do. I know Nathan Mooney, the owner, personally, and he is just someone who embodies the Take a Step mindset. He took action on this business a few years ago and turned his entire downstairs of his house into a full production facility. And at this facility, he's built an amazing team that serves clients both small and large, whether if it's outfitting your staff, gifts for a client, or any custom branded merchandise. They're your people and they're fit for the job. Something really cool they recently did for Take a Step is on their website, they built out a custom page specific for Take a Step apparel and merchandise that I can now send people directly to, and I'll link that down below, and they can do the same for you. So if you have any need for custom apparel or merchandise, MMP Customs is the place. Let's get back into the episode.
And even with that, like, you can have the perfect plan. You can go to a Tony Robbins seminar, and you get this $1 million blueprint, and everybody walks out of there so gung-ho and ready to go, and they've got the perfect plan. It's worked for somebody else.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm just going to do what they did. You got to work on yourself. Mm-hmm. Like you said, controlling the inputs.
Yeah.
I like the car and driver analogy. Like, if I put you in a Formula One race car right now, that thing can go, I don't know how many miles an hour, but that thing could win the race.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it across the first turn because you're not skilled yet in knowing how to drive that vehicle. Elon Musk, guys, love him or hate him, he's brilliant.
Yeah.
If I put him as CEO of Hugh Fitness, what happens to that business tomorrow?
Yeah, it completely takes a turn downward, because it's like they don't know what you know relative to your experience, relative to your business. So like exactly what you're saying, he's optimized based off of where he's at right now, and he's done a damn good job at doing it. Same reason you have in your lane. So it's like, it is understanding what your lane is and optimizing for the plan that God has for you specifically, because it's different for everyone.
Exactly. But ultimately it starts with defining what success is. Yeah.
And that's what I'd love to get into that up front. You want to take it a little bit and run with define the success.
Yeah. We're all chasing something, and hopefully you'll get what you're chasing. But you got to take some time to really prayerfully consider what it is that you're after. Because if you polled 100 people what success is, they did a study with guys. I think they polled like 50,000 guys, and they asked them what's the one word that they're after. The number one answer was freedom. Number two answer was peace. So they're after freedom and peace, but that can be your idea of freedom compared to my idea of freedom could be completely different.
Yeah.
So it's like taking it a step further. What is that actual thing? And as leaders of companies, I heard a pastor speak a couple weeks ago, and he talked about us as leaders. A lot of people are putting their faith in us because they're following our vision and our mission. So with the gym, for example, like I'm able to provide income and employment for 8 coaches. They're putting a lot of faith in me to have that stable income, to have a paycheck every 2 weeks. So for me, I'm putting my faith in Jesus, and I'm asking him, hey, here's the plan, guide my steps along the way, craft me into the leader I need to be. But ultimately, as leaders, it's not enough to put your faith in him. Like I have faith in this chair. Before I sat down, I'm like, I have faith that it's going to hold me.
Yeah.
But I had to put my faith on it.
Yeah.
I had to actually like sit down on it for that faith to actually come to fruition.
Yeah.
And there's a different level of trust and commitment when you put your faith in something to on something. So what's been monumental for me over the last couple of years, and it's helped me. I mean, I know that how this ties into crafting and what's your success. It helps figure that out. When I can take my family, and it's no longer my family, I'm putting it on Jesus. When I can take my business, it's no longer my business. I'm putting it on his back. I'm taking my health on his back. It's a different level of trust and faith, but man, the level of freedom. Because when I tried to carry this stuff for so long, I got pretty broad shoulders.
Yeah.
But dude, every step of the way, it was just crushing me.
Yeah. I think about Philippians 4 when you talk about that, like the whole concept of be anxious for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and I had,
well, that's great, God. Yeah. Okay. Be anxious for nothing, but you don't understand the pressure of the mortgage coming through.
Yeah.
You don't understand the health problem that I'm dealing with my kids. Like, these are big things, God. Like, I have to hold this.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, be anxious for nothing. But then how do you do it? Through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, present your request to the Lord.
Yep.
So it's like casting your prayers up to him and then thanking him that it's no longer your burden to carry.
Yeah.
And for 35 years of my life, I would pray that. I would pray for all these things and be like, all right, I'm going to be anxious for nothing. Here, God, carry this. And I would literally throw it up to the ceiling and then bounce it right back down on and walk out that room like, okay,
yeah,
still carrying it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's thank God you released it.
Well, and when it talks about casting your burdens on the Lord, it's like we were not designed to carry all the weight of our own anxieties and all our stress and all our overwhelm. And that's by design, because that's exactly what God uses to show us that, hey, we don't have it all figured out. We can't control it all ourselves. We're in need of a savior. We're in need of somebody that has already gone before us, that has the perfect plan, that is sovereign, that is providential. And I think that's part of his way of opening our eyes to our littleness, if you will, our insignificance in the grand scheme of things, because we like we talked about it earlier, like we can do everything the right way and things still somehow turn out completely different than it did for someone else.
So for me, for defining success, there's a great story. There's a Pulitzer Prize winner, I think back in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. This guy went out there and he captured this photo.
What's a Pulitzer Prize?
It's like the top award you could receive as a photographer. So
okay.
The best photo taken this year is the Pulitzer Prize winner. And he captured this photo in Sudan. It's this little young girl, and she's crawling her way to a food bank. So she's going from village to village, and she has to crawl her way to a food bank in order to eat. And she's so malnourished that there's a vulture that's literally just walking behind her every step of the way.
Holy crap.
She's on the verge of dying. Yeah. This guy captures this photo. It's iconic. You've probably seen it before. And that year, he wins the Pulitzer Prize for that photo. And shortly after, I think a couple months after winning the pinnacle of a photographer, the pinnacle of his profession, he ended up taking his own life.
Jeez.
And I would have to imagine when he's out there in Sudan, he probably, people from his team, they're like, hey, don't touch anybody, like hands off. We're here on this mission just to capture photos. Malaria diseases are running rampant. So you got to keep yourself safe. Like it's about you.
Yeah.
You're here for this job. And he lost sight of the greater purpose. Like you might have your vocation and you're here on this mission, but you got to understand the actual mission of why we're actually called here and we're on earth.
Yeah.
And tying it back, I mean, I think with everything, when you can become a servant leader, for myself personally, that's success.
Yeah.
And then the command that God gives us is go and make disciples of all the nations. Follow me and I'll make you a fisher of men. So like, I feel like that's ultimately my idea of success. Am I learning it, living it, and then leading it, leading people to like actually realize, oh, this Jesus thing, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
And getting them to dive deeper into it. Because that's the key.
For sure. And the beauty in that is you just described your process, and getting back to like how we define it as a brand is not necessarily how we define it, but the thought we have, the main message we have when it comes to success is it's not about a destination.
Yeah.
It's about the process and what is your process. And if you are, everyone's in a process. And if your process right now is leaving you burnt out, overwhelmed, lack of meaning, don't have the peace or the freedom that guys talked about in that survey, then find the process that will, because most guys are in a process that they don't realize they're in, because all they're thinking about is getting to the Pulitzer Prize, is getting to whatever that benchmark is in their life. Realizing that every single day they wake up and they don't have the meaning that they're searching for, because they are in a process, but it's not the process that's actually going to fulfill them. And if they can shift that way of thinking to say, hey, like what is something that every single day is going to give me fulfillment, then that's the key. And I think about a story like when you go to the beach, like every time you go on vacation to the beach, and if you're in like a highly populated area, you'll see a bunch of kids like building sandcastles and having fun in the sand. And
we'll be building them this weekend.
Oh, for sure. And it'll be a perfect definition of what I'm about to say, because I guarantee you it'll happen. Because this was me when I was growing up. Is like you get in, and we used to dig tunnels down in the sand, and we would build this like connection of all these tunnels and everything. Or like we would build these sandcastles throughout the entire day, and we would spend hours like just all the little details, molding everything in those buckets and like making sure that it stacks up right and it looks beautiful. And then once it's time to go in at the end of the day, we'll knock it down and go in. We know the ocean's going to come carried away anyway, so we'll knock it down and have fun doing that. And the beautiful thing in that is that we weren't doing it for that finished result. We're going to knock it. We knew we were going to knock it down anyways, but we did it because we love building the sandcastle.
I love it.
So when I think about that and I relay it back to the everyday life that we experience is what's your sandcastle?
Yeah.
Like, what is that for you that you don't give a crap what the result is when it comes to why you get up and do it every day? That's icing on the cake. The nice car, the house, the vacation home, the bank account, the relationships, the connections, all of that. Like, I'm not demonizing any of that, but those are byproducts of the fulfillment and the love of the grind and the process that you get to wake up and do every day.
Those are good things.
Yeah.
But when good things that God gives us become ultimate things,
100%,
they become burdens. They're curses.
Yeah.
Like, so these good things you just mentioned, yeah, like you should chase after those in some capacity, but they're stepping stones along the way, and they can't be the ultimate reason that you're doing all these things.
Yeah.
And a quick dad hack, you'll see me do this on the beach. If you're exhausted and you're like, okay, I need a vacation, but then you go there and you realize you're just like, it's more work playing with your kids and you're more exhausted. Let your kids bury you in the sand. And then you're stuck.
Yeah.
And then they get to go run around and mom has to take over, and you get to lay there, head hanging out, just soaking up the sun.
Spoken like a man with real experience.
When you see me randomly walking the beach and there's just a head hanging out of the sand, sunglasses on, hat down, taking a nap, that's going to be me.
Yeah, dude. I love it.
I can't wait.
on like when you say like good things turning into ultimate things, there's a great book, Counterfeit Gods by Tim Keller. Highly recommend it, just on the concept of like, hey, like these aren't like in and of themselves, they are not bad things. Like they are a lot of times they are good things. It's like some of the good things that can become ultimate things when you look at the world around us today: marriages, kids, fitness, health, wealth. Like these are all great things. But once you put them on the pedestal of ultimate, of infinite, then it's the verse. It's not money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money.
Yes.
It's when it shapes who you are and your identity is when it really has that impact. And last thing I'll say on this is to like continue pressing on that point of they are good things. Is in my opinion, we need more godly men with the things of this world that don't have their identity in the things, because like we kind of have a crisis of strong like men that live inspired lives that the next generation is like, I want that life. But then it turns out that they're strong followers of Christ as well. We need more men that that aren't doing it for the stuff, but they use the stuff to point to Christ. It's the whole the verse in Matthew. I sent it in the tribe chat today, but like when you talk about like you don't light a lamp and put it under a blanket. No, you put it up on the lampstand so that it can light the world, and then you let that light shine so that you can point people back to Christ because of that light. Yeah. People flock to that light, and you use that light as your vehicle to point people to Christ.
It's integrity and influence.
Yeah.
Keep living a life of integrity. Like whatever I do in the dark, I'm proud to have come to the light, because that's just the man I am. And then while you're doing that, if you're operating out of excellence, you should be growing in influence in some capacity. And then what are you doing with that influence?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be the light. Let's go. For
sure, dude. I love it.
Going back, last thing on define the success, it's going to look different for everyone. So figure out how God has uniquely designed you with your skill sets, your hobbies, your interests, and even the season of life you're in. It was so inspiring. I was playing golf with my uncle yesterday. By the way, on the 9th hole, it's about a 400-yard par 4, crushed the drive, had 215 left. Well, actually, so I didn't crush the drive, but I had 215 approach shot. And dude, I stuck it. I just pured it. I put it 2 feet from the hole. And then going up, he's like, oh, nice little tap in. I'm on top of the putt. I heard the birds chirping, and then I like felt my heart rate.
Knees started shaking.
I was like, breathe. And sure enough, I tapped it in for the birdie to finish it off.
I don't know where that was in our scramble a couple months ago. But
yeah, don't talk about that. But just talking about him, like he's retirement age. He was an engineer for Clorox, had a great career, and he's been a great steward with his finances. So they retired nice, and they've got a nice lifestyle. But how is God using him right now? Every morning he wakes up, he has about 2 hours of quiet time, and he's writing. And he's on his 3rd book, The Case for Christ. He loved that book and how it broke, it meshed with him. So he's taken a lot of what he's learned, and now like in his quiet time, it's forcing him to do more research. And he's on his 3rd book, just talking about, I think the newest book he's writing is The Narrow Gate.
Oh, that's so cool.
But it's cool so then like to have a conversation with him in the golf cart for 4 hours, he's talking about the different chapters of the book. And who knows what will happen with that, but he's still successfully living out what God wants for him.
Him specifically.
Yeah. Even in retirement years.
Yeah. So cool. And when it comes to talking about like who you are, how you've been designed, we're working on something really cool behind the scenes as far as a tool to help identify who you are, how you've been designed. Specifically, as far as just as a little bit of a sneak peek, a little bit of a kind of a leadership personality assessment that'll help identify who you are holistically. Like there's so many assessments in the world right now that kind of specifically who you are as an employee or in the marketplace. So working on a tool to kind of help identify that. So we'll keep you posted on that's the arrival for that. But moving forward and transitioning to step number 2 in this journey, which we talked about on the tribe calls, was set the standard. And I love that we piggyback that on the back of define the success.
So like, what was your vision when you made the order of these?
Yeah, it took like I got everything out. It took me a while to kind of come up with the phrasing, but but then orchestrating where they all fell in the journey was fun. And this one was very strategic.
Because if you think about like climbing upstairs, if you're climbing upstairs and then you get to a stair that's high because you missed a step.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I might get stuck on this one.
Yeah.
And then what will you do? You'll default back to your baseline and then you'll be like, oh, not for me.
Yep.
Like that's where like having these stepping orders and these frameworks is so pivotal.
For sure. So like once you have that process for you to find on what successful is going to be for you every day, after that, it's what is your standard? Like how do you show up each and every day? And what we dive into is it's not just in one area.
Mm-hmm.
Your standard doesn't just apply in one area, or it shouldn't just apply in one area, because that's how life gets out of alignment. And when I talk about that specifically, when we were preparing for the tribe calls this last week, I was doing some research on just the whole concept of standards and when people's lives are out of alignment. And there was a study done about 5 years ago on the 10 richest people in the world. Across the 10 richest people in the world, 13 divorces.
Ooh.
In those 10 people, 7 of them have been divorced at least once. So you're talking some people in there with 3, 4, probably 5 divorces. And like going back to what I was just saying about how when the standard is not the same throughout, life gets out of alignment. And it's not that they didn't prioritize, or it's not that they didn't care about marriage, because they wouldn't have gotten married if they didn't care about it. They wanted to. Mm-hmm. But it's they had a standard in one area that worked out very well for them, but they didn't apply that same standard in another.
Because when you don't apply it at home, I've seen this happen with numerous guys, and there's been moments in my life as well. You go to work and you have this standard and you're growing, and at work, dude, you're the man.
Yeah.
You're the king there. Like everybody's like, oh, here he comes.
Yep.
You're leading this team effectively. You're growing, you're scaling, customers are happy. Like, great. And then you go home and you turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, hold on, like I'm providing this lifestyle for us. I'm the man. I'm like, all this is from me.
Yeah.
But then you're not the king of your own household. And you're looking for the affirmations and you're not getting it because you don't deserve it. You're not showing up in the same capacity. And that's where the divorce rate, guys start having those infidelity, like the office relationships, where it might not be like any physical, no physical damage was done, but the emotional damage is there.
Yeah. You're
starting to like, oh, this employee really looks up to me. They tell me all the things that I want to hear that I don't get at home. It happens far too often.
Yeah, for sure. And like when I look at that study specifically, the one thing that really jumps off the page to me is whatever you optimize for, you're probably going to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
If all you really care about, if all your actions are saying you really care about is financial wealth, congrats. You're probably going to get there more often than not, if that's all you optimize for. But for what?
Exactly.
And I like I said a second ago, they didn't get married with the intentions of getting a divorce. So this is where we go back to why it's so pivotal to have it on the back of define the success, is we've got to define, is our standard going to just be on wanting to grow this business, or on wanting to be the best husband, or on wanting to be the fittest guy in the room? Or is it going to be alignment of everything that we prioritize? And that's where this is where the step framework really comes into play, in having these buckets of areas that we can be intentional in each area and recognize when things are getting out of alignment.
It's also important to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are going to help you stay accountable.
Yeah.
Because when you do achieve the level of wealth that we're all searching for, that ego starts to come in. If you start to become the fittest guy in the gym, the ego starts to come in. Mm-hmm. So I think of an example, one of our members, Daniel, awesome dude. And at the start of the year, he's like, I made it a goal to myself that I'm going to show up 5 days a week. So at the end of the month, he hopped on the InBody scale and he saw the body fat dropping down, the muscle mass creeping in. And I was there and we were having a meeting, and I was celebrating with him. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. But my first question was, where has that consistency shown up in other areas of your life?
That's the question.
And that was the win. So yeah, sure, he's getting stronger, he's getting leaner, all those good things are happening. But with him showing up consistently, it's made him more consistent with his quiet time. So now every day after the 5:30 a.m. workout, he goes home and he's in the Word. And he showed me a picture. He had like a group prayer one Tuesday morning, so he didn't hit the gym, and he was out early. And his wife sent him a picture of his 3 boys. I think probably ages like 8, 10, and 13. It's like young ages.
Mm-hmm.
And at 6:30 a.m., they're on the couch, blankets on, with their Bibles open.
Come on, dude.
So they see, they're watching him being more disciplined, in his fitness, but also in his quiet time, in his marriage, and all these things. And now these little mirrors are starting to show.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But like, that's the win. Like if I just pumped them up, like, dude, you're awesome. Okay. Maybe I need to double down on this discipline of fitness, and it starts to become an idol.
Mm.
And then it becomes a bad thing that you're chasing after something that's never going to fulfill you.
Yeah. And that like speaks directly to the point we have behind Set the Standard. You guys ready? The way you do one thing, the way you do everything.
Everything. Yes.
Like that's perfect. Is he may or may not have been thinking that he would love his kids to get in the Word, or he needs to be more disciplined in that area. But his one goal that he stated was that he's going to start showing up 5 days a week. And what kind of impact did that have on fitness specifically? Great. But as a byproduct, it's going to show up in the way you do everything else. So if discipline, like when we talk about these leadership principles, like discipline, like consistency, like work ethic, like relationship, like your drive to have better relationships, like all of these areas can be impacted by going all in one area and watching how it impacts everything else. Like in that, like going back to the STEP framework, if we know that there's one area that's lacking, when we talk about the STEP framework, strength, tribe, expertise, and praise. So strength being your physical, mental health, tribe being your friends and family, expertise being your work and your finances, and then praise being what we call the tree and the fruit, your internal spiritual growth, and how that's lived out externally is the fruit. Where, like, what area would benefit you the most in every other area if you chose to be more intentional right there? And for him, it was fitness. And for me, that was true for me as well. Because right when it was college for me, right when I got around people that loved going to the gym, somehow I started building more discipline. Somehow I built better relationships. Somehow some people ask me, hey, you say you're a believer, but why aren't you going to church on Sunday? You want to come with me? It's like you get, like, it was the gym got me around the right relationships, started to build out the discipline. All of a sudden I had like a deeper sense of purpose for my standard in every other area. And it's like all of these little things had a ripple effect from that one thing that I started to prioritize. So yeah, dude, it's such a great metaphor. And like the story that we talked about on the call, if anyone's read Make Your Bed by Admiral McCraven, it's amazing, dude. I would love to see if I can pull up a little. There's a clip on Instagram that I would love to play where he's talking about it. Because I would love to play that right now. But it's literally, it talks about how, here it is right here. I'm going to play this real quick. Here we go.
So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better. So if you want to change...
I mean, it's like the smallest things that, like, how in the grand scheme of things, how insignificant is it to have your sheets looking well in your bed every single day? When you look at like everything that's going on, that one thing doesn't seem very significant. And specifically when it comes to the military, like this is the cream of the crop for leadership in the world. And when they get started, all of the cadets in basic camp are taught from the very beginning, we are going to make our beds to perfection every single day, and they're going to get checked. And if they're not made, there's going to be repercussions for it. And they know that making your bed is not going to directly make you a better soldier. Like there's no direct correlation between those two, but they know that if I can't trust you to do this one thing with a high level of excellence that really doesn't have that much significance right now, how am I going to trust you on the battlefield when our lives are on the line for you to treat the situation with a high level of significance?
100%, because you're setting the standard.
Yeah.
My wife and I had a good moment a couple years back. We were having some friends come over for dinner. So we spent all afternoon like getting the house ready, like cleaning up all the things, like making sure the bathrooms are tidied up, putting all the toys away, like making sure the house looked ready for guests.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the night, we had a good conversation. We're doing all this work to present the house to somebody and to make it feel homey and comfortable for them.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we doing that for ourselves? Like, why aren't we living like this and living like we're a place when both of us come home just from a normal day?
Yeah.
It's inviting and welcoming.
Yeah. We had our nanny coming over today at the house, and last night Jane's like, we got to pick everything up. We got to do this and that. It's like, okay, let's do it. Yeah. I sat there. I'm like, why don't we do this just for ourselves?
Yes. Because I mean, no, it takes work.
Yeah.
And once again, if it becomes the ultimate thing where you can't let, it's a lived in house.
For
so
sure.
I'm not expecting perfection, but there should be a level of standard that like, we just want to live it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
There's a, on that, there's a great interview hack or tactic that I know some people that use. I think we talked about it last week after the calls. And it's something that is like, it's usually a gut punch for me. Cause I'm like, if this were actually done right now for me, I wouldn't be living up to the standard that I claim to have. But if you're ever interviewing anyone, I highly recommend you do this. After the interview, walk them out to their car, open up the door for them, just take a look at how their car looks. Because when we talk about the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, if their car's a mess, how do you think their home is? How do you think their workstation's going to be? How do you think the way they organize their contacts are going to be? How's their schedule throughout the day going to be? I guarantee you there's rollover in that. And when I know I'm prioritizing, like when I talk, like going into the new year every year, we get light. That's one of the things we talk about when we build out the calendar we do.
You got to stop giving me take a step swag.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like go through my closet and like only have a couple of shirts. And every week I show up, I'm like, all right, that thing's fresh. It's adding to the, the coat hanger.
It's like too many shirts that look so close together, but you still, yeah.
Now I'm like matching my shirt with my shoes. Dude, you're ruining me. I'm trying to get light.
I love it. But yeah, man, set the standard. The way you do one thing is the way you do everything. What's the one area that if you treat it with a higher level of intentionality would impact every other area of your life? So we've got to find the success. We've got to set the standard.
Going back to the step framework, one thing that's been so pivotal for me is the step check. So just taking the 10 minutes every week at the end of the week and reflecting on how I showed up. Did I do what I said I was going to do in these 4 different pillars? And just having that moment of like man in the mirror moment where I'm like, okay, it's just me and my pen and paper. Did I get it done? And to what level? And what's been cool to see is trends.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 weeks in a row, I said I was going to do these different family goals. I was going to date my daughters on a Friday night. I was going to take my wife out. Why'd that get pushed to the side?
Yeah. You start to get okay with it.
So then I'm like, okay, I've been crushing, 3 of the pillars, but the 4th one is lacking. And then I can make that the intention going into the next week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like having that constant moment of reflection so I don't drift too far off has been really, really valuable.
Yeah. It's awesome, dude. Well, it's been a great show.
Yeah.
Enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed debriefing. It's fun. It's obviously fun talking like this, but especially once you get, a group of 5, 6, 7, 8 guys on a call. It's fun to kind of hear how it applies practically. Like, cause it's great to talk about, the what ifs and the different scenarios, but once it starts getting applied to how it's showing up in our life every day, how it's showing up in my family at 5:30 on a Tuesday, it makes it real.
Yeah.
And it's fun to hear how many guys relate to what other guys are going through when you get people in similar phases of life. So I think that's such a cool aspect that we've been able to implement with the tribe. So it's been fun.
You got a plug for the next step in the framework?
Next step 3, know the source.
Ooh.
Yeah. That'll be loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Take a Step podcast. If you enjoyed it, please leave a rating or review on whichever platform you're listening. And always remember, no matter where you are on your growth journey, every mile begins with a step.